Hey guys, what's up? Zombie here, and welcome to Evilzombies Lair, episode 4. Today is going to be kind of a Halloween episode. It's mostly horror themed today because it's October and I like horror stuff. So today we're going to be going over a lot of different things. I have a few personal updates, and also the audio interface arrived, so I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about a new horror X-Men movie, a scary X-Men movie, you heard me right. Then new anime recommendation, couple new tech items that got released or that will come out very soon. And then our main topic of the evening is going to be about what horror movies I will recommend to you this Halloween season. Because you have a little bit of time to start watching them now if you want to make it through. Well, hopefully you can make it through all of them. We got a list of about 11. Okay, guys. So, let's get started. See me, if you're watching the YouTube, you see me dancing a little bit because I'm trying to put in little clips and stuff in the post editing just to make it sound a little more nice, a little nicer. I can talk, I swear. A little more nice. I swear, I know English. it's my native language, but it is American English, so it's all butchered. That's about the summary of it. Okay, guys, we'll get started. Something I've been doing a lot this week is just whole crap ton of digging. I've been digging and plowing the entire front yard because I'm tearing out all the cement, gonna pour all new concrete, and oh, my hands, my back, I swear, I'm just using the Matic like a couple hours out there. I'm so sore. So that's something big that's gonna be going on. Something else that happened yesterday. Well, a lot of things have been stressful in life recently, as they do in life, because it's just natural. Had a major panic attack, like asthma attack and panic attack, all over the front doorstep, and that was all bad. So about an hour later, finally got to come inside, and it was all good after that. But that was just a whole episode, because life just happens. Some people have those, some people don't. I'm one of those that have them. Okay, another thing I'm doing, I'm actually going to be selling more stuff. My guitar pedals, my effects pedals. Oh, let me clear my throat. Okay, if you're watching it on YouTube, if I'm pausing it, or if you see the video cut, it's because I'm going to be snorting or sniffing or blowing my nose or coughing and whatever. I'm taking those parts out. Simply because I don't want you to have to watch that. That's the only part I'm taking out. Everything else is just as is. I'm not going to be stopping in between everything or all that. Okay, continuing on. But yeah, I'm selling guitar effects pedals and stuff so that I can start buying new stuff to help improve the quality of the content you're hearing. So I don't have to do as much in post, and I get a much more natural and better sounding first recording. Because that's what's important when you're trying to do something like a podcast or YouTube recording. You want your audio to be good the first time around. So I'm going to be hopefully changing out my case to a silent case. I was thinking the 100R because it has soundproofing padding. It doesn't have the window like I like, but it has a front fan, top fan, and back fan, and then sound dampening padding on all sides. So it should be quieter than my half-X case that sits right here, that has ginormous fans all over it. I mean, this thing is freaking huge. It's literally this big by like this big. And the fans themselves are bigger than my face. But it's been a wonderful case. It keeps everything cool, but now that I'm recording more often, it's just not doing the job for it. It's not keeping everything as quiet as I would hope, even though it normally is not noticeable of a noise. If you're gaming or things like that, it's not really noticeable. But if you're recording and then there's nothing else happening in the house at 4 a.m., that's pretty loud. I notice it big time. It's like, oh, that's happening. So that's something I'm going to be changing out. I was thinking of actually getting a different microphone, hopefully something dynamic that also does not pick up the sound of my kids or the sound of the fan or the cars outside. So something dynamic, because this is a condenser microphone, and while it does sound much more natural, and I do enjoy that, as you can tell, this is actually the sound of my voice. This is after warming it up, sadly. It doesn't really get much higher than this in the morning. This is just what I sound like. I mean, I can try and talk like this, but it doesn't work. I can only talk at a low volume in the early morning. At 4 a.m. until about 6 a.m., I'm like this. Unfortunately, I'm very baritone. Is that what it's called? Baritone? I'm not much on singing or anything like that. I'm very bad at it. Completely tone deaf. Not bad at doing impressions, but completely tone deaf. Anyways, back to the next topic, guys. So, something big that happened. The audio interface arrived. Finally! It arrived this week. I've been messing with it all week. I've been loving it. I got my settings figured out on it for the most part. I'm still playing around with it because it will take like a month to actually get the hang of it. And that's just normal. When you get any new piece of equipment, it's kind of like a break-in period where you actually learn what sounds good with it, what doesn't. I had my microphone really figured out with the way I had it. But now I have to refigure everything out again because I have a new audio interface. When you get a new piece of equipment in your chain, then you just have to relearn it again. That's just the simple of it. It's just going to take a little time. But it makes things sound a lot more natural. It doesn't sound as hissy or anything like that anymore. There's no line-ness because I only have to have the volume set at about 25%. And then my computer volume for the microphone I have set at about 80. But my knob for gain I have it about 25%. And it sounds fine. I mean, I haven't had any line noise. Any hiss or something like that you hear in the background is the computer fan. And I try and remove that in post. But I'm very happy with with what I got. I'm loving it. The only downside to that was the company. The company, it was called Adorama. I'm looking at the box if you can't see me. I'm looking at it on the side if you're listening. But the company I bought it from is called Adorama, and unfortunately, they used UPS SurePost, and that was the only option they had available on Amazon. Which sucks, because UPS SurePost is slower than UPS Ground. UPS will take it, drop it off at the post office, and the post office will deliver it the day after. It actually arrived about 5 to 7 days late from the time it was supposed to arrive. Yeah, no. It was pretty late. They shouldn't have arrived way late like they did. I'm happy I got it. Talked to the customer support. They actually gave me a $15 refund, and I get to keep the item because they didn't want me to leave them bad feedback. So I was like, okay, if you can take care of me completely, and then fix your shipping department, then I will give you good feedback. I'll let you know after it's all done. So they're doing that for me. So you're welcome, I guess. You're welcome. So that's a big part, and I'm loving the audio interface. It sounds great. It's easy to figure out, easy to set up, and you basically just plug it in and go. You can do there's drivers available for it if you want to install the newest drivers, of course. Then I can play my guitar on here, which I love doing. I hate having to set up an amp and get all that stuff set up for it. I mean, I'm even selling my pedals. I don't use them that much anymore. Now I can plug it into my computer and get all the effects I want. Because what I would probably end up doing would be recording it onto the microphone with the amp and then put it through all that crap. Now I can just plug it in and it sounds good, and I'm happy about that. That is fantastic to me. My speakers on the computer are better than my amp. My guitar amp is like a 10 watt. Who cares? You know? I just never got around to spending money for a better one, but this is a great alternative for microphone that sounds better. Everything will just be better now. And remember, if you do get an audio interface like this, I'm using the UMC 202 HD. If you do get one like this, then it will record in stereo. It doesn't record in mono. What that means is the microphone plugged in will record on the left side, and not the right side at all. And if you plug in a microphone to the second port, it will record only on the right side. They are for two different channels, and you have to put them into one in your recording software or in your editing software after your DAW. Okay, so if you understand that and you're still okay with it, it's fantastic and it sounds wonderful and I love it. I swear I love it so much. Once my voice is actually warmed up, it's so much better. Okay, got to clear my throat again. Paused it again if you're watching it on the video, but we are moving on to the next topic. So, we're talking about multimedia news now, guys. Okay, so New Mutants released a trailer. And this is something I'm really excited about because it's in the X-Men world. It's an X-Men movie with the mutants. I think this is one's in the hospital or maybe after that. And from the commercial, from what I could tell in the trailer, and it's a horror movie. They don't know they're mutants. They haven't had Xavier to tell them anything. Right now, there's just children that can walk through walls and yell at them if they want to pick on them. And it's like, what the hell? It's so awesome. I love it. I love scary movies, and I love X-Men, and this is a great mixture. I mean, I was watching it, and it actually looks like it's going to be a fantastic and scary horror movie. Lots of jump scares and creepy feels all around. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. And you know you want to. Go watch it. Okay, I know. All jokes aside, it looks fun. It's enjoyable. And yeah, that's something I'm going to see. Definitely. Next part of news is Pokemon Go is still trying to become popular when they lost everything so long ago. But some people are still playing it, so if you are, there should still be this contest. I looked it up. There's an AR contest, augmented reality contest, where you take pictures of the Pokemon and you send it in, then they pick the best one. I don't know much more than that, because I honestly stopped playing Pokemon Go a while ago. It no longer interests me, and I'm just not into it anymore. They kind of killed their own game, not the franchise. The Pokemon franchise will live forever. Thank goodness. Wow, I hope you couldn't hear my stomach just now. I could actually hear that. But yeah, Pokemon Go contest. If you're still playing it, more power to you. Awesome. It just didn't fit me anymore after they took out the ability to hit Pokestops in the car. After that, I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm an IT guy. I sit in one area. The game doesn't serve me for any purpose anymore. That was the only way I could play. Okay, so moving on to the next topic, guys. I recommend a big, very popular anime from the 90s to you, Tenchi Muyo. If you enjoyed that, if you've seen it, awesome. If you have not seen it, and you like girls, or you like guys that like girls that has no opinion about who likes him at all, or if you just want silly hijinks and a harem, and like 5 girls that all love the same guy, then Tenchi Muyo is for you. It's a very silly show. It never really has a conclusive ending on who he likes, but you kind of get the feeling of who he likes throughout it. He just never gets the chance to say it because there's several girls all fighting for him at the same time, all the time. And I would suggest you go watch the Tenchi Muyo OVA and then watch Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Oki, because those two are actually connected. And then after that, go back and watch Tenchi Universe along with Tenchi in Tokyo. And then the movies, which all have to do with Tenchi Universe, because Tenchi in Tokyo is a sequel to Tenchi Universe, but those are not related at all to the OVA. That's a separate thing entirely. The OVA series is like the series they used to get the budget for Tenchi Universe. It's original video animation kind of, it's kind of like getting a movie out of something that's popular, and then they're like, oh, let's do another show off of it. And it worked out like that. Kind of like the Escaflowne movie has nothing to do with the show. These things are separate. But Tenchi Muyo is fantastic. You would love it. Go watch it. It's hilarious. Hot girls, all that, lots of comedy. And poor Tenchi goes through so much crap. I swear. The guy's a glutton for punishment. He probably deserves all of it, because he's just a sweet guy to all these crazy girls, and he lets them in his house. At least he gets to live with them. And he's so neutral about everything in life, it's ridiculous. Okay, guys, but if you do want to see that, and you want to see what anime I've seen, if you're curious, then just go to myanimelist.net/profile/evilzombie123, and you'll see the list. I think it was like at 150 or something that I've completed. I can't remember. I watch a lot of anime. Okay, so tech news, guys. These are some fun things that are happening recently. I'm excited. The Oculus Go has been announced. You can see all the information on the official website for it. And it's going to start out at $200, and it comes out with one controller, and it's coming out early next year. Now, what's exciting about this is it's a cordless Oculus Rift. Completely wireless, and you can download VR experiences to it. And I'm so excited about that. I'm not sure how it works, but the website, like, there's no cords. You don't hook anything up to the computer. I'm not sure if you have the option to. That would be fantastic. But I do know it is wireless. It has that capability. I also don't know the battery life on it yet, how long it lasts. They haven't announced that. But they said there are 1,000 games available for it. And I don't know if it has an internal storage or if you do a streaming video from your computer, because that could work pretty well if you have a decent Wi-Fi. Or if it's Bluetooth, who knows? I'm excited to find out. Or if it will link to your phone in some way. Because it looked kind of like the Google Daydream. It looked almost exactly like the Daydream. And it looks fantastic. I mean, it looks crisp, clean. Looks like they have carpet on the outside, kind of. I don't know why. But it looked fantastic. I'm excited about it. I love VR. And this looks like a great way to compete with the Gear VR, which is actually at a much lower price, but you have to have a certain type of phone to do it. I can't because I have a Note 4. And they've specifically said the Note 4 won't fit. They don't support it anymore, which is frustrating to me because, oh, there you go. You got one customer that can't buy it. You singled us out. You singled me out. So this is something I'm excited about because I don't like having to use the really cheap $13 VR headsets all the time, because sure, they work, but it's not as good as what you'd get from Oculus. It's just true. They have budget. They got money and they know how to use it. And that's just something I'm definitely going to buy. But moving on to the next piece of hardware that is going to, or actually this one already came out. Cooler Master released a new case. It's called the Cooler Master Master Case H500P. And it's a half case. It's the return of the half series pretty much. Thus the H in front of it. And it's $150. And it basically looks like a modernized half case. It's a modern, pretty new take on it. So it's still going to be loud. It has two big fans in the front. I think they're 140 millimeters. Or is it 230? It's one or the other. I can't remember. I'll have to find you the specs later. But it has one on top, one on bottom, and they basically take up the entire front of the case. So it's probably 230s. But it takes up the entire front of the case. No more disc bays, it looks like. I mean, I didn't see them on there. It has the fans on top, fans on the fans on the back. I don't think it had them on the side. I think that was crisp and clear window when I was looking at it. But it looks really pretty. It looks really nice. If you're into that, go check it out because it's $150 and it looked really cool. I mean, it actually looked really nice. If you're looking for a nice show-off type computer case, this might be your best bet. So that might be worth checking out. Okay, guys, with that brings us into our main topic, and we've only been talking for 18 minutes so far. Ooh, right on the dot. Okay, so moving on to the main topic. I have 11 recommended horror movies for you for this Halloween season. So, I know you're saying, why not just a top 10 list? Because I couldn't get it down to 10. I mean, I had it at like 30 before. Give me a break. I have a collection, a personal collection, of actual physical DVDs of over 150 horror movies out there. I see a lot of horror movies. I love them. I might actually be up to 160 now. But, yeah, this is something that I love watching, and it was hard for me to really narrow it down to just a few good basic ones. And some of these entries are actually series because I couldn't bring myself to pick one from the series. So you just kind of deal with it, guys. I'm telling you. I love horror, and it's Halloween. Okay, without much further ado, the first movie on my list I would recommend to you is The Babadook. You can watch this on Netflix. It's creepy. It's about, an hour and a half long. It's a fun movie. It's very creepy. It's a horror movie. I guess it's kind of psychological and then monster kind of horror movie, but they do a really good job at it. I mean, it goes through all of the phases of showing off really good character development. It's one of those movies where you start feeling like, oh no, don't go in there. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? You'll be saying stuff like that at the screen. It's fantastic. It's fun. I don't want to tell you much about it, honestly. I was sitting here trying to think of how to tell you about it without telling you about it. And yeah, just go watch it. You'll like it. Next movie on the list, It. Not much really needs to be said about it. It's about a killer clown demon. You need to go watch it. There's a new one that came out. If you haven't seen the old ones, go watch the old ones. What's wrong with you? Go watch them. It's Stephen King. You'll love it. Trust me. They're fun. It had Tim Curry as It. I mean, you can't really beat that. It's not much better than that. But you need to go watch that. It's awesome. I love it. There's part 1 and part 2. In total, that'll take you like 4 hours to watch all of it. I mean, what else are you going to do for 4 hours? Sleep? I remember sleep. That was before I had kids. That was like 8 years ago. But yeah, I just made myself depressed. Okay, and I'm old too. But yeah, go watch It, then go watch the new It. Actually, it'd probably be better if you watch the first movie of all of them, then watch the remake, and then go watch the second of the old movies. That would probably be a better layout for it for chronological sakes. So, just honestly, that's how you should do it. Moving on to the next one. Number 3 I would recommend to you is the Evil Dead series. Yes, the whole series. Because there are 3 original Evil Dead movies, which then directly continue into Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the show, which is a direct sequel several years later of Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. And it follows that same chronological story with the same actors and everything. And it's fantastic. It's all directed by Sam Raimi, and he has like a movie budget for every single episode. And it's so bloody, I'm telling you. It's wonderful. You need to go watch that. So Evil Dead 2, which is a direct sequel to Evil Dead 1, and then Army of Darkness, which is a direct sequel to Evil Dead 2. And you got to remember, those 3 movies, there's a theory that since they get progressively wackier, and Ash is a silly guy that likes to flaunt a bit, then that's really his way of telling the story. It starts out completely legit and how it happened, and then he kind of adds a little bit of fluff to make him seem more amazing. But you can still see that it's probably all like the first movie, but he just adds a little bit of fluff as it goes along to make it more exciting. So that's why the movies get gradually more exciting, because it's him telling his story. And that's a fun way to look at it. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, you got to go check it out, guys. And then, of course, Ash vs. Evil Dead, the show. I think it's on Stars? I can't remember. But the Blu-rays are out now for seasons 1 and 2, I think. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite shows. Go watch it. It's creepy. I would suggest the movie, but a lot of people can't handle the tongue-slitting part. So, if you can't handle that kind of gore, don't watch the new movie, because it does have a lot of really high-detailed, old-fashioned style gore done by masters of horror, I'm telling you. But if you can't handle that, go watch that too, because it's awesome. It's kind of its own remake and new take on the world in a different way. It was creepy. Next recommendation, number 4. Wow, I'm going to have to move it up a little bit. Night, Dawn, and Day, and Land, and Diary of the Dead. There's another one after that, but it wasn't that good, so I wouldn't recommend the last one. But Diary is good. So all the ones up to Diary, go ahead and watch. Because they're all awesome and fun. They're all in the same series. Excuse me. That was bad. But they're all in the same series. And they're a lot of fun. I mean, that's where the flesh-eating zombie came from. Night of the Living Dead started that in 1968. I mean, zombie movies have been around since White Zombie in 1932. Or Frankenstein, technically, in 1910, I think it was. 1912, 1910. But Night of the Living Dead started the flesh-eating zombie that wanted to eat people. And they're fantastic, and they're all related to each other in story. I mean, you can see one without seeing the other, but you see it all start in Night of the Living Dead. You need to watch it. It's amazing what you can do with oatmeal and Bosco's chocolate syrup. Trust me, it's amazing what you can do with that. Some of the effects actually look really good for an old movie. Okay, guys. Moving on to the next one. As Above, So Below. I would highly recommend this to anybody that's a fan of horror and that wants to know what it's like to wander around aimlessly in the catacombs in France. And lots of dark things happen. People get lost in those catacombs in real life. And it's a whole claustrophobia just mess. I mean, you're just like, oh, I would not want to be there, because there's all these really tight, dark corridors, and they have no idea where the hell they are. I mean, at that point, I'd probably just bring a big can of spray paint and just make this big trail on the wall of where I am, you know? I'd be like, I'd just walk in and do the spray paint the entire way down. That's what I would do if I were going into a place like that. I mean, screw the law, what they're gonna do. I don't want to get lost down there. No. That's all bad. But no, it's really cool. It has an interesting twist near the end, and it's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. It's creepy. It's fun. I think you can watch it on Netflix. I'm not sure on that one. Don't quote me on that because you might not be able to. Okay, moving on to the next one. Lights Out. This was a cool original concept where there's a monster or a ghost or creature. The horror antagonist of the movie, which I will not reveal, even though I know what it is. I swear. The antagonist of the movie travels through darkness. So if there's a shadow and you walk over there, you can see a hand pop out, grab you, and pull you in. It's awesome. I mean, it's like, oh no, there's no place left to hide, because if the lights go out, you're screwed. And it can flick light switch too. No, it's a lot of fun. It was actually a pretty well done horror movie. Lots of fun jump scares. If you're into jump scares, I would suggest it for that. If you're like, I need a really good jump scary movie, or if you're on a date and you want to get that girl to jump into your lap because she's just scared from the ching, then get that movie because it'll probably help you out. There you go, buddy. Or there you go, girl, because you have a guy that gets scared and you want to cuddle. Okay, I'll stop doing that now. I was giving a thumbs up and winking for those of you who are listening. I'll try and remember this is not all visual. I'm used to recording for the YouTube. Okay, moving on to the next movie. This one's a bit older, but it's still really good. 7 Doors of Death, also known as The Beyond outside of the United States. The Beyond. So this is Italian horror at its finest. Lucio Fulci is a brilliant director, and when given a really low budget, he can make magic happen. I mean, he makes some amazing gore effects in this. The eye gouging scene is legendary in this movie. Right up there with Zombie 2, which is also an indirect sequel that he made to Dawn of the Dead, by the way. But he did such a good job in this movie. I loved every bit of it. It's so old, but it's so fun. It's about a hotel built on one of the 7 gateways to hell. And it's a little bit far-stretched, I know. The acting is not that good. And if you watch the dub, it's even worse. But the effects are all wonderful, and he actually is pretty ahead of his time as a director, so give it a chance if you're into that, if you're into classic horror, because it's fun. Okay, moving on to the next one, guys. Ringu. I would highly suggest Ringu, not The Ring, but the original one, Ringu, the whole series, because it's scarier, it has more of that horror feel, it makes you feel more tense, I guess, more tense in the moment than The Ring ever did. It's not about jump scares. It's not about jump scares. It's about building up an atmosphere that really makes you feel scared or uncomfortable the whole time. That's what it's about. And it answers all questions because the story is a lot more in depth. Which also brings us to our next recommendation of what I would also recommend, Ju-On, which is the Japanese version of The Grudge. So The Grudge without Sarah Michelle Gellar. It goes over the story in a slightly different way by focusing on several different people and saying which one's story they're on at the moment. Like, for example, say if I was going to tell a story from several different people, it'd be like the postman, and here's his point of view on his day until this happened. And then the mom, and this is her point of view until this happened. And it goes over the story like that, so you uncover the mystery through everyone's point of view. And it was a lot of fun. There's 2 movies in that series in Japan, Ju-On 1 and 2. Go check it out. They're fun. They're great movies. You'd like that. It has a really good creepy feel. And yes, that blanket scene is still there. So, if you ever want to never trust your blankets again, you should go watch this movie because you'll never trust your blankets again. Okay, next movie, guys. This one is really old as hell. Really old as hell. But I love it because it influenced pretty much all modern horror. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Now, this is a really old as crap movie. Old. I mean, silent. But it's a lot of fun, and it has a lot of the murder, mystery, suspense that you see in any modern horror movie of this style, because it's the influence. This started it. The director of this was like decades ahead of his time. And he was so ahead of his time that nobody would see this. Everyone was terrified of this movie back when it came out. I mean, when Frankenstein came out, people fainted, you know? This was pretty big, because this was like one of those early movies where people would get murdered, things like that. And it has an interesting story that's actually worth checking out. So I would suggest that. And you can watch it for free on YouTube because now it's open to public domain because it's so freaking old. But you can watch it for free legally. So Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Go check it out. You can watch it for free. Okay. Now for the last movie on our list, which is actually a video series of short movies. All on YouTube. It's called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Now, this is more of a psychological and political statement kind of show, but the first time you watch it, this is all horror. And it comes off like a Sesame Street kind of show, a Blue's Clues kind of kid show at first. For the first minute or two, don't let your kids into the room. Trust me. Do not let your kids into the room when you're watching this show. There's 6 episodes of it, and they all take a very dark turn at the end. I mean, blood and guts kind of dark turn. It's not safe for kids to watch, trust me. It may look all happy and cute, and you're like, what the crap am I watching? But keep watching. You'll be like, what the hell just happened? Your mind will be blown. And after you watch all 6 episodes, I then encourage you highly to go over to the Film Theorist channel and watch their video on what it means, because there's hidden meanings all throughout it, and you'll never figure that out unless you spend a whole crap ton of time dissecting it like they did. But they did the work for you, so go watch it, and they'll tell you what it means, and that's what it actually is. It's a lot of fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed yourselves going through this list with me. This brings us to the end of our video, actually. So go watch some of those movies. Have a fantastic Halloween season. I'm still going to upload next week, of course, but it's going to get a lot busier, so you probably won't hear, well, no, you'll still hear from me, but you won't hear as much from me on social medias and things like that, because my sister's my sister's fiance is finally arriving in the States next weekend. All right. Wow, this weekend coming up. Then she's getting married like the following weekend. So it's going to be a little bit busy, doing a lot of yard work to get things ready over here for the reception. It's gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna record a bunch of videos ahead of time, pretty much. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and you're watching on YouTube, press that like button, subscribe so you can watch more content, and also check out some of the other ones that I've done. This is the 4th one in the series that I've done. I'm also doing it on a podcast. Leave me a comment down below as well, because I do read comments. I love to hear back from you guys. I love to talk to you. This is one of the joys of my day. Whenever I get a comment, I'm like, oh, cool, someone watched it. I mean, this is one of the joys of my day. It really makes my day. So talk to me. I enjoy it. If you're still watching after half an hour, or 32 minutes and 3 seconds, then good for you guys. And if you're watching it on a podcatcher of some sort, like Podbean or anything like that, or SoundCloud, or if you're watching it on listening, not watching, not reading, you're listening to it on iTunes, then press that 5-star rating if you enjoyed it a lot, and leave me a short comment, because that will also make my day and help me know if it's good, if it's bad, if you guys enjoy it. These are things I want to know. So I will see you guys later. Have a good one, and bye.